The discussions there in the pregame show, talking about the Chicago Bears and what they were expecting. The St. Louis Rams win the toss, and they will receive. Danny Amendola just brought in, and Amendola trying to go the distance. A marker goes down at the 35-yard line, but Amendola doesn't know it, and he takes it down to the 3. Amendola signed off the Philadelphia Eagles practice squad September 22nd with a great return, 91 yards, but it may be coming back.
Ron, it looks like it is coming back. Amendola sparked the return game last week in his first game with the Rams, as we listen to Tony Corrente.
During the return of the kick, holding, receiving team number 26. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And that one going against the Rams, like we talked about. Boy, that's one of the reasons the Rams start this season 0-3. Have a great play. And it takes us back, John, to a game we did, the Seattle Seahawks, the opening game of the season. They block a field goal, take it for 6, and then they get it called back because they've got too many men on the field.
Yeah, penalties hurt teams badly. Right there you see a situation where the Rams start off with a great return, brought back. Let's see if they can recover.
So they'll start 1st and 10 at about the 20-yard line. Jackson trying to get outside, nothing doing. Michael Lewis coming up from the secondary. A pickup of maybe 1 or 2. The starting lineups for the Rams. Bowler, very good in his career against NFC teams. He's 7-2 all time. The receiving core, they have not been around low expectations, or high expectations for Donnie Avery. He has not delivered. They are looking for more from him. 2nd down and 9. Play action. First pass of the day. Bowler in trouble, gets rid of it. It's late, and it's incomplete. Intended for Keenan Burton. That'll bring up 3rd down. The San Francisco 49ers ranked number 4 in the NFL against the rush. It starts up front. Sapuaga, Franklin, Justin Smith, very active. Keep an eye on him. Lawson along with Harrelson outside at the linebacker spikes, and we just talked about Patrick Willis. We'll watch that matchup between Willis and Jackson. The cornerbacks, they got tested last week. Shante Spencer, Clements on the outside. Goldson, Michael Lewis will hit you inside. 3rd and 9. The throw sails over the head of the tight end McMichael, and that'll bring up 4th down. And that's a 3 and out for the Rams.
And running on 2 plays in a row here, the 49ers bring great pressure in Kyle Bowler's face. They bring 5 men there. Kyle Bowler under duress. He talked about they need to be proficient on 3rd down. That's one thing they've been struggling right away. That's a win for the 49ers. Great job by the 49ers defense.
Donnie Jones will punt it away. Donnie Jones has got a lot of practice punting the last couple years. Has a very good average. Kind of shanked this one off the side of his foot. Very unlike Jones. It'll roll out of bounds at about the 49er 32-yard line. Shaun Hill, 9-4 as a starter. He is 6-0 at home here in San Francisco as a starter. His first full year as the guy. He beat out Alex Smith in training camp. A journeyman, so to speak, has bounced around the league a little bit, but he has gotten the ire of Mike Singletary and believes in Mike Singletary. Mike Singletary believes in him, and he is the leader of this team. The quick throw outside. That's Isaac Bruce. Rams fans will know that name very well. Bruce for 5 as he has gone over 15,000 yards in receiving. Ranked 2nd all time. Glenn Coffey will sub in for Frank Gore. Gore out 2 to 3 weeks with an injured ankle. Up front, Staley, Boss, Heitman, Rachel, and Snyder.
And Ron, those guys up front are who Mike Singletary put the onus on. He told his big guys, Frank Gore's out. You guys need to step your game out.
2nd down and 5. They'll run it inside for a couple. That's Coffey, maybe 2. The Rams defense, they'll go up front. Leonard Little, Gibson, Ryan and Long, Chris Long. Paris Lennon just brought in. Signed a couple weeks ago. Was cut by New England this offseason. David Vobora, their outside linebacker, suspended this week for violating the NFL's policy on performance-enhancing steroids and substances. 3rd and 3. Quick throw, that's Vernon Davis. And Vernon Davis will have the 49er first down. A pickup of 9, Ashimego Atagwe on the tackle.
And we talked to Sean Hill and Vernon Davis both. They both feel, as you see Vernon Davis, that their chemistry together is starting to grow. Vernon Davis had a breakout game last week. They also talked about their 3rd down. They needed to convert on 3rd down. Sean Hill felt the key was being productive on 1st and 2nd down. Right there, that's following that script. They were productive on 1st and 2nd down. Makes it an easy 3rd down conversion for the 49ers.
Ball at midfield, 1st and 10. Coffee trying to get outside, heads back inside, not much. I'm not even sure if he got one. James Laurinaitis, a 2nd-round pick out of Ohio State, is there.
And Ron, I've been impressed with Glenn Coffey and the little I've seen. People say, well, his yards per carry is over only 1.8 yards per carry, as opposed to Frank Gore, who's going 6.1 yards per carry. Frank Gore is a special player. This young man, though, has shown that he's a tough, physical, downhill runner. I think he'll perform well for the 49ers today.
2nd and 10 as you look at Steve Spagnuolo, the Rams head coach. Hill with time to throw, safety valve throw, dumps it off outside. And that's Coffey. Coffey just across midfield. A pickup of 1. Talking to Steve Spagnuolo last night, he said, hey, we need to win a game. It's gotten to that point here. The Rams starting out 0-3. But he was also quick to say, John, we do not attach other Rams teams to what we're trying to do. And we've talked about that. The greatest show on turf thing is long gone. They want to develop their own identity. 3rd and 9. Quick throw. Incomplete. The look inside was very fast to Davis, but that ball was knocked away. Atagwe, standing right on top of it, forces the punting situation.
And right away, you see them go to one of their best players in Vernon Davis. Sean Hill, as I mentioned, is getting more and more comfortable. O.J. Atagwe, as we've talked before, Ron, he's a ball hawk. He's going to be around the football all day. This guy, since 2006, leads the NFL in turnovers caused, interceptions, forced fumbles. He'll be around the football all day. Very nice play by O.J. Atagwe.
Andy Lee punts it away, looking to kill it inside the 5. With no luck. That ball on the 49-yard punt rolls into the end zone. Rams offense 0-0 early here in San Francisco.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on.
This is Jackson. Jackson looking for the cutback. And a gang of red jerseys are there. Michael Lewis, a pickup of 5. Mike Singletary, 1st year as a full-time head coach, 5-4 last year as an interim head coach, replaced Mike Nolan. The Samurai, as they call him. If you look around town here, John, it's clear what his message is. It's about intensity, and it's about wanting winners.
Yeah, and he lives it, he breathes it. We sat in that room there the other day, and you couldn't help but come out inspired, fired up. He's done a great job in imprinting his philosophy on this football team in short time.
Jackson looking outside, makes a cut. And Jackson, with a marker down, will be about 3, maybe 4 yards shy of the first down. Patrick Willis, we talked about that matchup. But first, let's listen in to Tony Corrente.
Offense, number 46. 10-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
That's Daniel Fells, the backup tight end.
Daniel Fells is a guy who had his own breakout game last week with Kyle Boller coming in, 2 touchdown passes. As we said, they're looking for somebody else other than Steven Jackson to break out. He had his breakout game. The guy they're really hoping to get going is Donnie Avery. He's a guy who's been explosive last year in his rookie year, has failed to do so thus far.
53 catches for Avery last year. Play is stopped again.
Illegal substitution, 12 men in the huddle. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Boy, and the Rams imploding.
You had 12.
penalties back to back. That time, too many men in the huddle.
And you think now they're backing themselves up. You think about the opening kickoff. They get down to the 2-yard line. With this drive, you get a decent run. You get a holding penalty. Now you get an illegal substitution. You really put yourself in a hole early. And that's what teams that are 0-3, those are the type of things that make a team 0-3.
The Rams already 3 penalties for 25 yards. Draw second and long. Jackson will try to get some of that back. But Jackson really has been most of the team, and that's putting it lightly, coming in as the number 2 man in the NFC in total yards from scrimmage next to Adrian Peterson out of Minnesota. But averaging 96 yards a game rushing, I guess, isn't enough.
Yeah, the thing that's so incredible about this guy is he's been going at this thing solo for a long time, but yet still manages to be the most productive running back in terms of yards from scrimmage in the NFL.
3rd and 14. The quick throw. It's complete. Donnie Avery with some nice moves. Donnie Avery will have the Rams first down.
And we spoke of Donnie Avery and them wanting to get him going. We talked to everybody from Steve Spagnuolo to Kyle Boller. General manager Billy Devaney told me before the game down on the field, it's just his confidence. We know he has it in him. He's pressing. He made the analogy he's like a baseball player in a slump, trying to hit the home run every time. They wanted to get him some easy throws and let him use his athletic ability in space. Right there, perfect execution of that, and that's a good sign for these St. Louis Rams.
21 yards, the first reception over 20 yards on the season for Avery. The toss. Jackson inside for a few. Takeo Spikes is there. A pickup of 4.
And when you look at Steven Jackson, we talked about it in the open. It always starts with Steven Jackson when you talk about the St. Louis Rams. This guy is getting 56% of their touches this year. The rest of the team down only 44. You know he's going to get it, but yet he still manages to be productive on a week-in, week-out basis.
2nd and 6. Here comes pressure. The throw, and it's caught. Fells. So Fells with the early penalty atones for it and gets the ball to the 49 or 40-yard line. And a first down, a pickup of 17.
And Ron, one of the things that was apparent right away that Kyle Boller brings to this team is the mobility. You see him fake to Jackson, get out. They wanted to take advantage of his mobility. He's very good at extending the play. The 49ers were concerned about that fact, and right away we see his mobility pay dividends for the Rams.
49ers moving around. They're having trouble getting lined up. The give to Jackson, looking to bounce outside. Nice play coming up hard there, Nate Clements. And you were talking about Boller there, 7th year out of Cal. The Ravens made him their 1st round pick, number 19th overall, back in '03. He missed the entire 2008 season with a shoulder injury. He signed with the Rams in April. A 20-22 record as a starter. As we said in the open, the first start since December of '07.
Yeah, he can't be more excited with this opportunity. He feels like the pressure's off him. He feels like he's really ready to play some good football.
Check down throw to Jackson. Jackson pushed out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Takeo Spikes with the push out.
And Ron, you talk about Kyle Boller. He had the rough start in Baltimore. He did some productive things, but then all of a sudden Baltimore gave up on him. They brought in Steve McNair as a free agent. They drafted Troy Smith, and finally they draft Joe Flacco. He was injured. He found a home here in St. Louis. With Bulger going out, he has his opportunity. We've seen this before with young first-round quarterbacks. Didn't have success right away. This could be his springboard to a new part of his career here.
Sam Congato checks in at the tailback spot. And I don't think he got it. 3rd and short, Ahmad Brooks, the backup linebacker, coming across with a nice tackle.
Ahmad Brooks is a guy, Ron. Mike Singletary told us about this guy. He said people don't know about this guy yet, but they're going to know about him soon. We're going to see him come right off the corner, and this guy has an incredible burst to him. You see him on the play right there as he gets Sam Congato. They are so excited about this young guy, and they said we're going to see more and more of Ahmad Brooks on the field.
This will be Josh Brown From 51 last week, the 49ers blocked the field goal and took it back for a touchdown. It's up. Plenty of height. Enough juice? I don't think so. So the 49er defense holds, and in spite of some nice plays on offense, the Rams come away with no points.
To the spot of the kick.
And Ronnie, this is the life of the kicker in the NFL. He thinks he made this thing. He's so excited. Yes, yes. Oh, and you know, Josh Brown now 1 of 4 on the season. This guy's a good kicker. Off to a slow start, and you see how close that kick was. Maybe the wind played a factor here. The flagpoles are going, and in this Candlestick Park, the wind is always going.
He had a field goal block last week against Green Bay, so maybe he was focusing more on height than distance. Hill, throwback, Coffey, he's got some room. Glenn Coffey, the rookie, pushes it across the 50-yard line with a nice run. Glenn Coffey, the 3rd-round pick out of Alabama, making his first NFL start for the injured Frank Gore. Picks up a first down, a pickup of 12.
And we're seeing something early from Jimmy Ray, the offensive coordinator for the 49ers offense, that I haven't seen as yet. Early on the first series, we saw a quick screen to Isaac Bruce. Right now, we see the screen to Coffey. Get the ball to your athletes in space and let them make plays. I like the adjustment the 49ers have made.
Single back, 1st and 10. Quick pitch, Coffey looking downhill and met in the open field by a guy, John, I know you like a lot, Craig Dahl. Dahl subbing for the injured James Butler. A marker goes down late, but Dahl coming up and applying some wood.
Holding, offense number 85. 5-yard penalty remains, first down.
Vernon Davis.
And Ronnie, you talked about a guy that I really liked for St. Louis, Craig Dahl. He brought the wood right there. Well, he brought the wood all last week against Green Bay. James Butler went down early. This guy came in and stepped up. As you see, textbook tackling right there. Gets Glenn Coffey down. This guy had 11 tackles in a reserve role last week. He's playing good football. His issue has always been his durability. He was with Spagnuolo in New York, 2 ACL injuries. They're excited about what he can do on this field.
Originally an undrafted free agent by the Giants in 07. Filling a void here for the Rams. A little draw play for Coffey. Not a lot there. And if you look down on the field and see some pink cleats and some pink towels and gloves, it's not your television set and you don't have bad HD. It's all a part of Breast Cancer Awareness Month here with the NFL. The NFL and the NFL players doing their part to bring awareness to breast cancer and possibly some of the ways we can help cure it.
And I think it's wonderful the NFL's doing this, bringing this awareness. Virtually everyone's been touched by that disease, and hats off to the NFL for their efforts.
2nd and 13. Another dump off. Wide open for Coffey. And Coffey chopped down. He'll be just shy. We'll call it about a full 3 yards shy of the first down where they initially marked it. Witherspoon along with Bradley Fletcher coming up for the tackle.
And Sean Hill's looking downfield on that one, Ron. The coverage was good. It wasn't there downhill. Down the field, he makes a good decision, dumps it to Coffey, and puts themselves in a manageable 3rd down. And you're looking at a 3rd and 5. Nice decision by Sean Hill.
The ball thrown behind him, but they're going to say in the meeting room on Monday, John, you should have had that one.
He has to have that one. And you talk about missing Frank Gore. As much as you miss him in the running game, you miss him in the passing game as well. His protection is exemplary. You see Coffey here going to come out to the flat. Sean Hill, a quick read on the blitz, and you just got to catch that ball. Sean Hill throws a little behind. You have to catch that ball. He dropped a big one on 3rd down last week in Minnesota as well.
Andy Lee with the backwards kick known as the L wedge, trying to kill that ball inside the 5. Doesn't get enough on it. Fair catch at the 10. We'll be back.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. Visa debit is easier than cash. More people go with Visa. By the Ford F-150, built Ford tough. And by AT&T, your world delivered.
During the break, Mike Singletary went over and had a few words with Glenn Coffey. We'll tell you what he said in just a minute. 1st and 10 Rams. Jackson can't quite turn the corner. Lewis coming up with the hit, a pickup of 2. This is what we're talking about with Mike Singletary.
And if you couldn't hear him at home, what Mike Singletary was telling him was calm down. He's got a rookie on his hands. He knows that. He told him, you catch that ball 100 times in practice. I love that from Mike Singletary. We've seen him go the other way and really get after someone. He knows with the young rookie, he's got to keep him cool. Great job by Mike Singletary.
2-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year as a Chicago Bear linebacker. And there's the blitz by a guy who's hoping will one day be the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. That's Patrick Willis. Willis, a former first-round pick back in '07, blasting through the middle for the sack.
And this guy is a special player. You're going to see Patrick Willis come right at Steven Jackson. Can't get there in the protection. He times it out right. He gets after Kyle Boller. That's the kind of plays this guy makes. He is a dominant football player for this 49er defense.
A loss of 6. 3rd and 14. Your best bet probably in that situation. Get a little bit of it back. Not much. A nice tackle there by Nate Clements on Steven Jackson, and that'll bring up the punting situation for the Rams.
And Ronnie, right away we see Mike Singletary. He said when you've got a special player like Steven Jackson, it takes being disciplined and it takes getting a lot of hats, 11 people to the football. Nate Clements takes his shot, but here they come. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're getting people to the ball. A great start for the 49er defense.
So Donnie Jones standing in his end zone will punt away to Arnez Battle. Allen Rossum deactivated, not injured, purely a coach's decision. A long line driver, he got it out of there. Battle at the 39, avoids 2, struggles to get back to the 43-yard line. Good coverage by the Rams special teams unit. Quincy Butler hustling down. Well, this October, the American League's best teams will collide in a month of unscripted and thrilling moments to see which team will advance to the World Series. Coverage of baseball's postseason returns October 16th with the ALCS, followed by the World Series only on Fox. And a great play in the backfield. Coming around the corner, Anthony Smith, the strong safety, chopping down Glenn Coffey. And that will most likely be the final play of the first quarter. We are 0-0. Some penalties hurting the Rams. The 49ers making some big plays in the backfield. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. We start the second quarter here in San Francisco. A loss of 3 on the last play. 2nd and 13. Quick throw outside. That's Josh Morgan. Morgan dancing and still going. A marker is down back at the 37-yard line. Most likely this one will be coming back. Penalties hurting the Rams early, now maybe starting to hurt the 49ers. Tony Corrente.
Interference, offense, number 88. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
And welcome to our booth. A lot of room in here. I love that. Ron Pitts, John Lynch. John, we talked about penalties. The Rams penalties hurting them early. Now we're seeing it against the 49ers.
Well, you look at the opening kickoff of the game. Danny Amendola brings it all the way to the 2-yard line of the 49ers. It comes back. They've had a couple other penalties. The 49ers with a productive play right there, brought back by penalties. A sloppy start for both teams. But the story of this game thus far is 3rd down defense. Both teams doing a great job getting off the field on 3rd down. We'll see if the Niners can overcome this penalty. What I like about the Niners offense thus far, we're talking about it, are the screens. They're doing a nice job of getting the ball to their athletes in space and letting them make plays.
Boy, the 2nd and 23 is hard. The quick screen outside. That's Delaney Walker. Walker got some of it back, but they'll still have a healthy 12 to go for the first. Our first game break of the day. Let's go down south to Los Angeles. Kurt Menefee standing by.
Jets and Saints. Mark Sanchez picked off by Darren Sharper. He takes it 99 yards for the score. The 10th interception return for a touchdown in Sharper's career, just 2 shy of Rod Woodson's all-time record. We figured you former DBs would like to see that, Ron and John.
Yes, sir.
Boy, you know, what did we call Darren last week? The all-time greatest freelancer back there. But you know what? When a guy's got that many interceptions.
Keep freelancing.
Yep. Plenty of time for Hill. And you give a quarterback that much time, that's what he gets. Wide open Vernon Davis coming across the middle of the field. And that's a 49er first down, 21 yards.
And when everybody, you know, a lot of people felt like it was a breakout game for Vernon Davis last week, he and his coach Mike Singletary both tell you that's what they expect and more out of him. They feel like this is a guy that's just starting to hit his stride. Mike Singletary has had such a positive influence on this young man, and now we're starting to see it pay dividends in production on the field.
First down give to Coffey. Coffey keeps his feet moving and gets about 3 or 4.
And we look at this season's numbers for Vernon Davis. This was a guy that people said hadn't lived up to his expectations. Well, he's starting to, and that's the secret behind it. He's starting to get the ball downfield. When you have a one-on-one matchup with Vernon Davis on any linebacker, safety, there we saw it on a cornerback, that's advantage 49ers. They're starting to take advantage of those opportunities.
A pickup of 3 by Coffey. He came into the meeting room and said, "Hey, John Lynch, the last time I saw you, you gave me a concussion." Second down and 7. Laurinaitis is in the hole. Second round pick out of Ohio State and the leading tackler.
And Ronnie, you know, you talk about Vernon Davis and me giving him a concussion. I forgot about that one, but maybe he really did have a big concussion. But when I played, this is right about where I was, right back there at those safeties in that area. And that's what you're supposed to do as a safety. When a guy comes in your area, you give him that concussion.
That's right. Let them know that it's not free in here. It's not Disneyland. Just because you got a ticket doesn't mean you can come inside.
A great 49er, Ronnie Lott, taught me that lesson.
Third down and 5. They got man-to-man coverage up top, and that's where he's going. Boy, a marker comes down, and it's got to be interference. Jonathan Wade on Josh Morgan. Morgan tried to go deep and then decided to come back, and it looked as though Wade wouldn't let him go.
Jonathan Wade is a guy that they've been a pleasant
defense number 20.
Really been
first down.
A pleasant surprise for these Rams, and you see right there, they're going to call that every time. He's got his hands all over Josh Morgan. Sean Hill tries to back shoulder Morgan, and they catch Jonathan Wade. Steve Spagnuolo called him a feisty, energetic guy. Right there, a little too feisty.
Gave up a touchdown last week, Donald Driver and the Green Bay Packers. So the penalty resets it. First down. Pressure, sack. Larry Grant, the backup fullback, comes in on a delayed blitz, and it's a loss of 6.
And they needed some sacks. That was one thing this unit talked about. Chris Long talked about it himself. You see Larry Grant right here. I think it's Chris Long that's really going to create this one. Chris Long comes in, disrupts Sean Hill, and Larry Grant finishes it off. Chris Long, that's the type of season. He's been playing good football. It hasn't resulted in sacks, but right there, you're affecting the game. Give credit to that one to Chris Long as well as Larry Grant.
Exactly. That's the kind of stuff that won't show up on the stats on Monday morning, but the coaches will know. 2nd and 16 run. Nearly lost the ball there, did Glenn Coffey. Took a hit by Smith, but a nice run.
You see Coffey high-stepping through that hole. It reminds you of an old 49er, Roger Craig. And Mike Singletary was very clear in his message. With Frank Gore out, people thought the offense might change. We're going straight downhill. We're going to run our offense. Glenn Coffey has to step up to the task. He's great execution by that offensive line that Singletary called out, and hard running by Glenn Coffey.
A pickup of 9. He's got 20 yards on 8 carries today. Michael Robinson checks in. Third down throw. Hill in trouble again. Tried to go to the quick one. It wasn't there. C.J. Ayu, first-year man out of Oklahoma, comes up with the big play.
Well, on a quick pass, on a three-step pass, you've got to get the ball out of your hands. There was good coverage. Sean Hill held onto the ball, and CJ Aiyuk finished it off. You see Sean Hill go back. Good coverage in there in the slot, and CJ Aiyuk comes in for the finish. We talked about their want to get more sacks. They felt like that was necessary for this defense. Nice job by the Rams in executing thus far.
43 yards now for Nedney. He's 1 of 1 from this distance. Nearly blocked. He hits the upright, push to the left, and you could hear that one. And John, we talked about the wind in this stadium now. Very windy weekend. And the wind pushing around, and it pushed that one right into the upright.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Miller Lite. There's light beer, and then there's triple hops brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. By Fidelity Investments. Turn here. And by Wing Street. Award-winning Wing Street wings delivered only by Pizza Hut.
9-play drive, 33 yards. Both teams 3 possessions, each with 2 punts, and each with a missed field goal. Missed opportunities early here in the first half for both teams. Jackson stacked up. Manny Lawson. Let's go back to the kick.
And Ron, as we look at the kick, I think you're going to see the wind really hanging up. I talked to Joe Nedney pregame down on the field. He said with Candlestick, you really never know. I asked him which way the wind was going. He said, I've played here for a couple of years. You never know. He felt like the wind wouldn't be a factor till the 3rd or 4th quarter, but I think we've seen it be a big factor on the 2 kicks already. 1 for Josh Brown, 1 for Joe Nedney.
2nd and 10. Bowler plenty of time. Inside, contact early on McMichael. No markers go down. Clements is there on the coverage.
Good coverage by Nate Clements. The Rams go with play action and try to get Randy McMichael streaking across the field. Randy McMichael's a guy that they feel they want to get more production. They need all their tight ends to start stepping up their game. They saw it from Daniel Fells last week. They want to start seeing it from Randy McMichael.
3rd and 10. Quick snap. Bowler, this is what he did last week. Can't quite get out of there. It's going to be short of the 1st down. Manny Lawson put that arm around his neck, and that was the end of that. A 3 and out, time to punt.
Ron, you talk about guys that have been impressive. This guy right here, Manny Lawson, last week in that film, 11 tackles versus Minnesota, was all over the field, involved in the pass game, involved in the run game. He's a big, rangy, long athlete that can get after people. Greg Minuski said that was going to be part of his responsibility today to chase down Kyle Bowler.
Donnie Jones keeping that ball low because of the wind, and a wise, fair catch there by Arnez Battle. 40 yards on the punt. 0-0 here in the 2nd quarter. So 1st and 10 for Sean Hill and the San Francisco 49ers. You can see the first 3 possessions not resulting in much. Wide open, good hole up the middle. Coffee will get about 9 yards on the run. Well, tonight on Fox, don't miss the most anticipated night of the week. All new episodes of The Simpsons, our newest hit, The Cleveland Show, Family Guy, and American Dad. Animation Domination is all new tonight, starting at 8, 7 Central, right here on Fox. Plenty of laughs with The Cleveland Show. Boy, I tell you, that's
good stuff.
It's amazing what they come up with. Quick hitter, 2nd down and 2. That's Moran Norris. Norris, the big fullback, brought in at over 250 pounds. Brought in for one reason after 1 year in Detroit. And open up some holes for Frank Gore and Glenn Coffey.
And we're going to see Sean Hill right here, the leader of this 49er offense. This is a guy that they really like, and the more I watch him, I really like him. He was an unrestricted free agent from Minnesota in 2002. Really a grinder, but the one thing this guy does is win. He's been productive for these 49ers, doing a wonderful job of leading this 49er offense.
A wonderful job of getting the 1st down. He'll lead this time, hand it off. Coffey Norris got blown up a little in the backfield. Coffey didn't get much. We're talking about Shaun Hill. 8th year in the NFL, signed with the Minnesota Vikings. He's kind of bounced around the league, signed with the 49ers in 06. 9-4 as a starter, undefeated here at Candlestick. Since being named the starter, he's been a guy that I think the team has looked up to. You know, you're looking for that guy, that leadership guy, no matter what position he plays. I think he is given that role, or jumped into that role.
Yeah, you know, and I think he's relishing this opportunity. When we talked to him, he said he was all but out of the league. They give him opportunity. He wants to make good upon it.
Hill in trouble. And you know, sometimes that's also what you're looking for out of your quarterback. The best throw is to throw the thing away.
Well, as they say, sometimes the best throw is no throw, or throwing it out of bounds. And right there was good coverage on Norris in the flat. And so what do? You throw it out of bounds. You don't make the mistake. That's one of his best assets, is that he protects the football extremely well. Had his first interception last week. That really was the tight end Delaney Walker's fault, not his fault. He does a wonderful job of protecting the football for this 49er offense.
They'll have to come with something here, 3rd and 11. The heater inside to Isaac Bruce, and Bruce will be just shy of the first. Let's see where they mark it, though. A pickup of 8. And yeah, it's going to be short, and that'll bring on the punt team for the 49ers.
And I don't know if those were boos or
no, that's
Bruce.
Bruce.
It might have been boos on the decision not to go for it on 4th down, but this is the right decision. You need to punt the ball. Your defense is playing well. Pin the Rams back.
Andy Lee will punt it away to Amendola. Bad punt. Oh, and it hit a Ram. That's a live ball. That's a live ball.
'49ers think they have it.
Touchdown 49ers. It looked like it hit Quincy Butler right on the heel. You could hear it with our great Fox audio. At that point, that ball becomes live.
Absolutely, and Ronnie, you called it bad punt, but good result. Hits Quincy Butler right there. It's the returner's job, Amendola, to tell him, Peter, get away from the ball. Butler doesn't see it, hits his foot, and the 49ers, I think it's Scott McKillop that comes up with the ball and the touchdown.
So special teams turning it over, a big play for the San Francisco 49ers. It results in a touchdown. Andy Lee holding for Nedney. The extra point is good. And I guess it doesn't matter how you get the points as long as you get them. 7-0 49ers.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Lexus and the first ever HS Hybrid.
We're back. 7-0 49ers, and Quincy Butler trying to explain what happened. Boy, you hate to be in that situation. You're trying to explain why you kicked the ball in the end zone, and it resulted in a touchdown for the other team. Amendola, short kick. He opened up with a 91-yarder that was erased by a penalty. Gets this one out just past the 25-yard line. Peter, get away from it. Guess Butler didn't get the memo. But the 49ers did. Scott McKillop, the rookie 5th-round pick out of Pitt, recovered it for the 49ers for his first NFL touchdown. Bowler on the rollout in trouble. Lawson is all over him. He throws that one up in the stands. Let's go back to the punt.
You see Amendola, the returner right there, Ronnie. You know from being a punt returner, your job is to say, Peter, poison, whatever it is to alert them to get away from the football. And right here, you're going to see it hit Quincy Butler's foot. At that point, it is a live football. Quincy Butler understands that, but Scott McKillop does a heads-up job, as does the rest of the 49ers special team unit, jumping on that football. Touchdown 49ers.
2nd and 10. Amendola in motion. The give to Jackson. Jackson had a hole. Ran into his own man trying to get out of the hole. Michael Lewis comes up for the tackle.
That own man that he ran into was Richie Incognito. They actually had a very nice hole created. They faked the reverse to Danny Amendola, opened up a wide hole in the middle, ran into Richie Incognito. Incognito's got to continue to drive. This is a guy who's a talented player. Got to continue to drive his feet and open up that hole.
3rd and 3. Caught Burton with the circus catch, and Burton has the 1st down. Went right over the top of Shante Spencer. Good enough for 12 yards, and they move the chains.
Well, Ronnie, Shante Spencer right here thought he had himself a pick. He takes the underneath Ruth, and somehow it gets through there to Keenan Burton. Very fortunate run of events for Kyle Boller and this Rams offense. That one could have been taken to the house very easily.
Burton with a 2nd career start, 4th round pick back in 08, making a big play. 1st and 10 play action. No place for Boller to go. Sack. Takeo Spikes is there first, and here's the dance. A loss of 10.
Takeo Spikes comes on the pressure. He's going to beat Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson, usually a great blocker as well as a great runner and receiver. Right there, Steven Jackson lets his quarterback Kyle Boller down. Takeo Spikes takes advantage of it and then celebrates.
Smith along with Ahmad Brooks there as well. 2nd and 20. Jackson looking outside. He's got it. Switches hands, throws a man off, and gets out of bounds at about the 50-yard line. Shante Spencer pushes him out of bounds. Game break time. Down in Los Angeles, here's Curt Menefee.
A Tony Romo fumble gave the Broncos the ball. Very next play, Kyle Orton hooking up with Noshawn Moreno. Somehow that gets through Anthony Spencer, and it's good for a Bronco touchdown. It's 10-7 in the 2nd quarter. Back to Ron, John, and the show.
All right, look at Tony Romo. Everybody wants to beat up on those Cowboys. Your old team trying to get it done.
Good Bronx.
Pick up a 15 on the last play. A marker is down. The pass is complete. That's the tight end, Randy McMichael. But that thrown by the head linesman.
It appears as if the 49ers jumped on that one. We'll see if...
Right, that's usually an infraction at the line of scrimmage.
Offside. Defense number 91 in the neutral zone at the snap. This penalty has been declined. The result of the play, 1st down.
And of course they'll decline it because of the yardage on the play in the 1st down, but that was Ray McDonald lining up offsides.
Yep. And Ronnie, this is a look, the magic look, as Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, call it. They essentially have 4, 5, 6 guys just standing. You don't know where they're going to come from. It's been a productive look for this 49er defense.
Jackson with a nice move in the backfield. Ends up giving Paris Harrison a 2nd chance to tackle him. You know, the 49ers on defense, John, looking like they're doing a nice job of rallying around the ball, pursuing to the ball, as they say on defense.
Yeah, I think they are. Their head coach called for that. He said with a great runner like Steven Jackson, you better get 11 people to the ball. You know, the one thing, Ron, with this defense, they've been very good. I'm looking for them to take the next step to be a dominant group because I think they have that in them. They've been very good thus far. They need to take that next step, and that goes to turnovers. It goes to sacks. We'll see if they can make that next step.
Play is stopped. That will be the 2-minute warning. 7-0 San Francisco, but the Rams driving.
Kyle Boller doing a nice job of spreading the ball. That's something they want in this offense. Steve Spagnuolo talked about it. We need to start spreading the ball around. They're without their #1 receiver, Laurent Robinson, who's out for the year. Good job by Kyle Boller getting it to a lot of people.
Jackson. And Jackson for a couple. You mentioned Laurent Robinson. Broken fibula last week versus Green Bay, a huge blow. He was just starting to come on, the Rams staff felt, starting to catch the ball, get vertical, block well, all of that kind of stuff.
And for a team that's 29th in passing, you don't want to be losing your number one receiver. It's bad enough already. But Kyle Boller doing a nice job of spreading the ball around to a bunch of different guys to pick up the slack.
Pick up a 4 by Jackson. Wide open, Amendola. A marker is down at the line of scrimmage as Amendola takes it inside the 49er 20-yard line. But it's coming back.
Looks like it's a false start on these St. Louis Rams.
Illegal formation. Offense number 70 lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
That's Alex Barron. 5th-year man out of Florida State. Boy, John, you hate to say it, but different coach, different situation, same results.
The penalties are killing him. You see Alex Barron right there off. Concerned with Manny Lawson's rush ability. He backs off the line of scrimmage. You have to be up, covering up the guard. Usually that's a warning. It'd be interesting to hear whether the referee had warned him.
3rd and 9, Jackson. He'll have to get a block from the quarterback. He does, but still a long road to go. And he's well short of the first. He ran about 50 yards to get nothing.
You know, Ron, and it's 3rd and 9. You're 0-3. You got a minute 30 left in the first half. I understand you want to put the ball in your best player's hands, but you got to take the ball downfield in my mind right there and give yourself an opportunity to get some points on the board before halftime.
And now you're going to give the 49ers the ball back with 3 timeouts. Jones with a high one. This one looks like it might go into the end zone. And it will. Touchback. 49ers will get it on the 20-yard line. 3 timeouts and a chance to get points going in at half. Hey, week 4 in the NFL right here on Fox. 1 minute and 2 seconds. 3 timeouts for the 49ers. They open up with the draw to Coffee. Maybe 2 or 3.
Timeout.
And a quick timeout by the Rams. Don't forget the Visa halftime report coming your way. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will be along with all the scores and highlights and the Fox Sports ticker with all the up to the second stats. Visa halftime report coming your way. Don't you love what the guy said this morning about the red area? What did Jimmy Johnson say? Red area, red area, red area.
That red area is a real important area, and the 49ers right now need to try to get to that red area. I think you've got to put faith in your quarterback, Sean Hill, in this 2-minute drive. He's proven that he's going to protect the football. Trust him. Let him try to go put points on the board before this halftime. You got 56 seconds left. 2 timeouts. Take the ball downfield and put trust in your quarterback. I think he's earned that trust.
Red zone, to be exact. 56 seconds left. Rams with 2 timeouts, 49ers with 3. Looking screen, it never developed. And Hill had to throw it away. A marker goes down. This could be an intentional grounding. Let's check to see if he was out of the pocket. And now we're under 1 minute. Under 1 minute, this could be a runoff situation. Tony Corrente and his staff talking it over. And one official is indeed going over to talk to the Rams to discuss whether or not they want to not give the 49ers a runoff and hold the seconds for themselves.
Ronnie, you see on the play as we...
There are multiple fouls against San Francisco. Ineligible downfield is the penalty is declined. Intentional grounding, offense with the loss of down. St. Louis is being asked if they want the 10-second runoff.
Yeah, by rule, intentional grounding penalty under 1 minute, it incurs a 10-second runoff. But the defense has the choice.
Intentional grounding, San Francisco, number 13, with the loss of down. St. Louis has declined the opportunity to run 10 seconds off the clock. It will be 3rd down.
The defense has the choice of whether or not they want to hold the 10 seconds for themselves, and that's exactly what Steve Spagnuolo did. Great explanation there by Tony Corrente.
Absolutely, and with third down, that's the right decision. Get yourself some time. You've got your timeouts. Get off on third down, then you have the ball back with a chance for St. Louis to put some points on.
You see the timeouts left there. They go screen the other way. Coffee with a nice run gets back up to about the original line of scrimmage. But another timeout, 43 seconds left. St. Louis will have one more timeout left, and they'll get the ball here on the punt. Next week on Fox, a great slate of games. The Minnesota Vikings flying high, taking on these St. Louis Rams, or the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs. And then many of you will see after that the Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers next week on Fox. Of course, it all starts with the 4 Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
You want to talk physical football, that Falcons 49ers, two teams that like to run the football downhill. Michael Turner, maybe Frank Gore, if not Glenn Coffey. That's going to be a physical football game.
Amendola back deep. Lee gets it away. Nice kick in these conditions. Plenty of room for Amendola. Spin move, maybe gets 2. 48 yards on the punt. Okay, I was wrong. He got 4. 32 seconds left. Some early game headliners. Good if you're a 49er fan, because Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts beat up on the Seattle Seahawks minus Matt Hasselbeck.
Just a routine day at the office for Peyton Manning. Seems like every day he's putting 300+ yards, 80% passing up. The guy just continues to amaze people with his proficiency in this league.
One timeout left, 32 seconds for Bowler. Throws that one out of bounds, intended for Keenan Burton. Burton had slipped coverage, but by the time Bowler saw him, it was too late.
And you know, Ron, early in this game, we saw them. They talked about it. They wanted to get Donnie Avery involved. On the first drive, they got him a quick, easy catch. He converted it into a first down on a third down. Since then, we haven't seen Donnie Avery yet. I think right here, you got to get the football to Donnie Avery. You want him to emerge, give him an opportunity to do so.
John Greco checks in at left tackle for Alex Barron. Pressure around the corner. The throw to Jackson. Jackson hemmed up quickly. Michael Lewis from the safety spot.
Timeout. St. Louis.
And that is a final timeout for the Rams. 16 seconds left. Rams having trouble moving the ball. Not just this game, John. That's been the story coming in. Really complete ineptness running the football, throwing the football. Steven Jackson has his yards, but they just don't make anything out of it, turn into points.
Yeah, you look for positives on this St. Louis offense. Thus far, it's been Steven Jackson, and that's been the consistent for a long time. You know, just the philosophy, though. These last 2 drives, you're in 2-minute hurry-up mode. Third down, you run a draw, 3rd and 9. Now you're in this 2-minute drill, and you're not taking the ball downfield. I think they got to start taking chances. You're an 0-3 football team looking for a win. You have to be aggressive.
Jackson there with 49 yards on 13 carries. That's a first down with the throw to Amendola. They'll have to hurry up, though. They'll clock this one. And that'll kill the play. Penalty, though. And if that's against the Rams, that could end the half. They could get a runoff and end the half.
Illegal shift, offense number 17. This play caused the end of the half to occur as we will run 10 seconds. This is the end of the first half.
Well, it's all about 10-second runoffs these days, huh? And that is the end of the first half. 49ers 7, Rams nothing. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime report after these local messages. And we're ready to start the second half here in San Francisco. The score, the 49ers 7, the Rams nothing. Ron Pitts, John Lynch, and John, it really starts with special teams, some special teams miscues. The win caused some of it was just bonehead plays Bottom line, it's a 7-0 lead for the 49ers.
Yeah, and if you're the 49ers, you better get that killer instinct. You're letting this team hang in, and that's always a dangerous scenario.
Yep.
And if you're the Rams, it's penalties that have killed you. You started off hot with the opening kickoff going 91 yards. You missed some field goals. You better get going and not have those penalties. And the wind played a factor here with these special teams plays. Both those guys kick in that direction. The wind hung it up.
And here the miscue, Quincy Butler, the ball hits his heel. Instead of falling on it, not understanding it is a live ball, Scott McKillop for the 49ers, he falls on it, touchdown 49ers. And a look at the first half numbers.
Yeah, and you know, right here, very even ball game. The difference thus far has been the 49ers, Shaun Hill protecting the football. The Rams, if you're the Rams, I think you talked about it coming in. You got to get the football to Donnie Avery. You did it early with success. Get it back to him.
Delaney Walker along with Michael Robinson back deep to receive the Brown kick. This will be Robinson at the goal line. And Robinson fights out just past the 25-yard line. Let's go down to Nichelle Turner.
Well, you know what, guys? John Lynch could be the coach because his sentiments are exactly what both coaches talked about at halftime. Coach Singletary said his team has got to settle down, play their game. He said it's all about execution for this team in the second half and cleaning up those little mistakes that have kept the Rams in it. Coach Spagnuolo says he told his team, quit hurting yourselves, but he also said he told them this is a new half. It's a 7-0 game. You're still in it, and what you can do is just think about these next 30 minutes. Back to you guys in the booth.
Yeah, I think that's the key point. They're lucky it's only a 7-0 game. First and 10 throw. The check down throw in the middle of the field. He looked deep, wasn't there. Went to Bruce, and Bruce couldn't hold on.
Shaun Hill right there, very proficient in the first half, going 9 of 13, excuse me, for 86 yards. Again, I think you got to start trusting this guy. He's proven he's earned that trust.
Craig Dahl, the safety, started the game, not in the game right now. Rams going with Smith back there. And Atagwe. Handed off inside to Coffey. Coffey picks up 2.
And Ronnie, we talked about it pregame. Mike Singletary put the onus on this offensive line to clear it up for this young rookie. I guarantee you Mike Singletary was in this halftime telling his team, we've got to get this running game going. And finally, Shaun Hill again, I keep pounding on it, but this guy has earned your trust. He's going to protect the football. Let him take the ball downfield, get these receivers involved, and then I think you can put away this Rams defense.
This could be that opportunity. 3rd and 8. Going deep, ball's tipped. A marker goes down late. He was going for Isaac Bruce on the go route, but James Hall got a hand on it.
You know, and if it's an illegal contact or pass interference, the tip ball will play a big factor. There is no pass interference if you have a tip ball.
Good point.
The quarterback's arm was hit, therefore the ball was not tipped, which means it was pass interference defense. Automatic first down.
Boy, and the Rams cannot catch a break.
They can't catch a break. You're going to see Shaun Hill go with it, and James Hall hits his arm right there. Now, if he hits the ball, that rule's in effect, but James Hall hits his arm, and that's tough as a DB. I'm sure he's sitting back there thinking the ball's free. The ball was tipped. I can do whatever I want. Instead, he hits his arm, and like you said, when you're 0-3, those are the kind of things that happen to you.
So that's a first down. Ball moved to the 45-yard line. Ends up being a 17-yard penalty. The toss to Coffey. Coffey wrapped up quickly. Nice play by Clifton Ryan, the defensive tackle.
And Ronnie, that's a good sign for the St. Louis Rams. When you study these guys on film, when you look at them, the tackle position is where they're hurting. You're going to see Clifton Ryan right here get in pursuit. They've really struggled at the tackle position, but nice play by Clifton Ryan, getting in the backfield, getting penetration, and making a negative yards play for the St. Louis defense.
And I think what you're saying there, John, the Rams just need playmakers of any form or fashion to show up on defense. A loss of 1. Going deep, looking for Morgan. He's got a step, and he can't hold on. I don't know if it was tipped at the last second or Morgan just dropped it.
Well, Mike Singletary must have heard me. He's trusting Sean Hill. He's putting it in his hands. Jimmy Ray putting it in his hands, and he delivers the football. Josh Morgan just drops it. You got to catch that football. That's what this offense has been lacking, the explosiveness. And when the ball's in your hand like that, Josh Morgan, if you want more of those throws, more of those opportunities, catch the football.
Morgan, as Sean Hill responds, Morgan with 2 catches or 4 catches last week in the loss to Minnesota. Had 3 touchdown catches last year, all of them over 30 yards. Can't hold on this time. And then it results in a sack the next time out. So James Hall, who started all this by hitting Hill's arm and causing the pass interference, he comes back with the sack.
And James Hall, a versatile defensive lineman. He can play inside, he can play outside. He's getting after. The pressure is there. It didn't result in sacks, but it's resulting in miscues for this 49er offense. Great job with the finish right there by James Hall.
3rd sack today on Hill. Amendola chopped down quickly. Nice play. Coming down the field, Marcus Hudson. Steven Jackson coming back after this.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By the Ford F-150, built Ford tough. By KFC, join Grilled Nation. Try a 2-piece meal of Kentucky Grilled Chicken for just $3.99. And by Couples Retreat starring Vince Vaughn in theaters Friday.
So the Rams will take over, ball at about the 16-yard line. That's Adam Goldberg. He's starting at right tackle. On the other side, John Greco replaced Alex Barron in the first half. Bowler in trouble. Sack.
And for a team, Ronnie, that's struggling in pass protection and has for a while to start with, to lose both of your starting tackles, Jason Smith out of the game coming in today. Now Alex Barron goes out. You've got 2 reserves at the tackles. That's a tough road to hoe for these St. Louis Rams offensive line.
3rd sack on Bowler. Credit that one to Manny Lawson. Loss of 2. They'll go with Jackson. Boy, Jackson stopping his feet way too early. And that's because of 49er defense. Takeo, Spikes, and Lawson, they're all over him. We've called Lawson's name quite a bit today.
Well, this is a guy, as I said, he jumps out in the film. He's been a good player. I think he's taken that step to the next level to be a great player like Patrick Willis. All of a sudden, you get him humming. I've talked about this defense needs to take that next step and get dominant. He'll be a big factor in this defense doing that.
A pickup of 3. Lawson with 10 tackles last week in the loss to Minnesota. 3rd and 9. Middle throw to Jackson. What a move. A marker goes down. It looked as though Jackson got the first down. He shook Michael Lewis, but this could be coming back. Penalties continuing to kill the Rams.
An eligible player, number 79, downfield prior to the pass. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
That's the left tackle, Greco.
And Ronnie, you said it, but we said it coming out of halftime. If you're St. Louis, you have to stop killing yourself. Steve Spagnuolo told his team that, but sooner or later the players have to start executing. You can't hurt yourself with penalties. Again, they back themselves up, put themselves in a third and 13 situation. Those are tough to convert.
8th penalty of the day against the Rams. Draw, Jackson. They try to keep it safe. Well, it was safe. Nobody got hurt, but it brings up 4th down and a time to punt.
You know, and Ron, you talk about keeping it safe. At some point, you got to take the ball downfield. I understand you're backed up. I understand all that. But give yourself an opportunity to at least convert. Instead, they're going to trust their Pro Bowl punter, Donnie Jones, who may be the best player on their team, to win this field position battle.
So Jones standing at about the 1. He'll get it out. Both punters battling bad winds today. They've chosen to keep it low, and Jones now, and that's a muff punt. Battle is able to secure it as he goes out of bounds. 35 yards. 2 bad punts in a row by Jones.
We've been mentioning that John Greco has replaced Alex Barron for the Rams, and I have found out that Alex Barron is not injured. It was a coach's decision to take him out of the game. I didn't get much further explanation, but he is here on the sidelines right now. He will not be in the rest of this game. Back to you guys.
All right, Nichelle, thank you very much.
And Ron, talking to some of the coaches for the Rams coming into this game, they weren't exactly thrilled with the play of Alex Barron. He's a first-rounder that they feel hasn't been playing up to his potential, and they obviously make a decision that they're better off with John Greco.
You're talking about the first-round pick back in 2005. You're sitting him on the bench in a divisional game. That's not good. 1st and 10, wrapped up quickly. Nice play in the backfield there. Paris Lennon.
And Paris Lennon and this Rams defense continued to do a good job in bottling up this Rams running game, or this, 49ers running game. Paris Lennon filling in for David Vobora, who's on suspension. Steve Spagnuolo said of Paris Lennon, he plays fast, and we're hoping to get some real good football out of him. That's a good indication for the Rams.
Spent 4 years in Green Bay, the last 3 years back up in Detroit. The end around Delaney Walker. Walker gets away from one man, finally pushed out of bounds by Atagwe. But he's got a 49er first down. And this drive starts as the best starting field position of the day for either team. A pickup of 16 yards for Walker.
And Ron, you don't often see reverses to tight ends, but remember, Delaney Walker is also a kickoff returner. With Allen Rossum not playing today, he becomes the kickoff returner. You see Delaney Walker on the wing. They're going to fake the ball to Glenn Coffey, get it to him in space, and a kickoff returner has those skills to make plays in space. Nice execution, nice call by the 49ers.
The longest run of the day by either team, 16 yards. The hit, the drop, intended for Morgan, and Shaun Hill went down. Nice pressure by Leger Douzable, just brought in off the practice squad on Tuesday, 2nd-year man out of Central Florida.
See Leger Douzable there in the middle, and wow, announce your presence early, young man. He was with Steve Spagnuolo. He's taking it to Shiloh Rochelle right there with a violent arm over move. Nice job. You want to get some more playing time, get in the backfield like that.
We just love saying that name. Leger.
I'm glad you did it first.
2nd and 10 run. Rams stiffening up now in the middle. Pushing Coffey back. They've been able to get some pressure on Shaun Hill.
They have. He's been under duress all day. He's been sacked 3 times, hit 6 times, hurried 6 times. You're doing your job as the St. Louis Rams. You're getting after Shaun Hill. They need to continue to do that.
Pickup of 2 by Coffey. 3rd down and 8. Michael Robinson checks in. Quick throw to Morgan. Morgan's got the first down and then some. So Josh Morgan takes it down to about the 13-yard line.
No, Ron, and I think Josh Morgan saying, I dropped the ball, but I do want that ball again. You're going to see Josh Morgan come up, act as if he's going deep, go for the middle screen. Good blocking by Arnaz Battle and the offensive lineman getting in. Good conversion on 3rd down for the San Francisco 49ers.
And the first trip in the red zone by either team today. Coffey almost got out of it. And, you know, he drew the wrath of offensive coordinator Jimmy Ray earlier in the season. You know how the rookies like to do. They come into this league and they start bouncing everything outside. Well, Jimmy Ray jumped on him one day in practice and said, you take that ball downhill, son.
Yeah, and he has been doing that ever since. He's been a strong downhill one-cut runner. That's what they want out of him. Sean Hill mentioned about the St. Louis defense coming in. The one area he thought they were very strong was in the red zone. They're 10th in the league in red zone defense. Problem is they've been down there as a defense more than anybody in the league.
Throwing to the post, Davis. Touchdown, Niners.
And we said it earlier, anytime you have Vernon Davis on a one-on-one matchup, he goes up against James Laurinaitis right there. Heck of a player for the Rams, but that's a mismatch. Anytime you have Vernon Davis, mismatch advantage 49ers. They pay dividends with throwing the ball to Vernon Davis. Great throw by Sean Hill.
Nedney puts it through. The third touchdown of the season for Vernon Davis. He had 2 last week. They say he's come of age. Sure looks like it to me. A look at the scoring drive capped off by the touchdown catch. Hill to Davis. Vernon Davis, well chronicled. The dispute he got into with Mike Singletary on the sidelines last year, was ejected from the game. Mike made him get off the field, but take his helmet with him.
Yeah, you know, Ron, and if there's a poster child for the turnaround, the impact that Mike Singletary's made on this team, it's Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis, when you talk about that incident that happened this time last year, he mentions he's glad it happened because it made him really take a good look at himself. Mike Singletary pointed it out that the changes needed to start with Vernon as a person, then they would translate onto the field. Last week you see him with 2 touchdowns, this week with that big touchdown. Great job by Vernon Davis.
And a strong kickoff in this win. That's Amendola at the goal line. And he's hit hard at the 18-yard line. Delaney Walker hustling down and hitting. And Davis coming up big for the 49ers. 14-zip. .6:58 to play here in the third quarter. The crowd comes alive. Patrick Willis all over Jackson. And we were just talking about the Vernon Davis incident last year. Mike Singletary put his stamp on the team in his first game as interim head coach. After Davis draws a 15-yarder, Singletary ejects him from the game. Davis walked off, initially leaving his helmet. Mike walked back to the bench and said, get your helmet, take that with you. And really, that was the beginning of the maturation of Davis, and really, it let everyone in the organization know what Mike Singletary was about. The reverse screen thrown the other way, that's Kenneth Darby, and Darby trips and just gets past the line of scrimmage.
You know, and the most interesting thing about that story with Vernon Davis is I asked him when we sat down with him the other day, the most important lesson he learned from that situation. He said it was to be a team player. We come out of the break, we see Vernon Davis down with his offensive lineman there, congratulating them for his touchdown. Mike Singletary's impact, he may have saved this guy's career, and I love everything about it.
3rd down and 8. The magic look by the 49ers confuses Bowler. Pick, Willis, 6.
Kyle Bowler's been away from football for a little bit. One thing you know in the NFL, you cannot throw the ball across the field with great defenders like Patrick Willis. Ronnie, I talked about this defense needs to take that next step, become a dominant defense. Well, right there, that's the makings of a dominant defense. The dominant player, Patrick Willis, making the big play. When you start scoring touchdowns on defense, you become a dominant defense.
Interception, touchdown for the linebacker, Patrick Willis, the Pro Bowler. 2 straight for him. Nedney puts it through. The crowd got going, and then the 49er defense got going. They're rolling big here in the Bay Area. Talk about the special teams of the San Francisco 49ers. Today they're responsible for 14 points. The special teams coach, Al Everest, doing a great job for his team today. This is Kenneth Darby. And Darby taken down at the 15.
Ron, it looks like another Rams penalty.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 47. This penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
When we look at the interception, you're going to see what the 49ers and Greg Minuski, their defensive coordinator, called their magic look. 4 guys standing up, 2 linebackers. The play was made right there by Dre Bly. His anticipation on the route made Bowler hold it. And what do great linebackers do? They read the quarterback's eyes. This reminds me of my old teammate Derek Brooks. Reading the eyes, you break on the ball and you score touchdowns. That's what great football players do. And he is a great football player.
14 points for the special teams and the defense. I want to make sure I keep that in there. Both sides coming up huge. Quick throw outside to Avery. Avery, he had a blocker in front of him, McMichael. He got pushed forward, but Avery's able to get some yards.
But Ronnie, my point is it's about time. Right here, Donnie Avery, you come into the game, everybody we talk to, from Steve Spagnuolo to Kyle Bowler, they say we got to get Donnie Avery involved. Well, you do it in your second series of the game. He gets you 20 yards. It takes until right now 4:59 in the third quarter to get him the football back. If you want players to get going and get them confidence, you better give them opportunities.
And an injured 49er on the field. We'll check on him when we come back. Deshaun Goldson walked off the field under his own power. He looks to be okay. 4:50 and counting here in San Francisco. The 49ers have just blown this thing wide open with the interception for a touchdown by Patrick Willis. Throw outside. Not much there. That's Carney, the fullback, hit hard by Spikes.
Ron, you talk about great defenses. You hear the crowd starting to appreciate this defense. You see people like Takeo Spikes, a great player in this league for a long time, start to feed off the energy that Patrick Willis created. This defense now is starting to show the signs of becoming that dominant defense that I think they need to, if they want to be a championship football team, this defense needs to become dominant.
The high throw intended for Fells, and it's incomplete. Let's go down to Nichelle Turner.
Well, guys, we've seen Takeo Spikes and Patrick Willis making some plays, and I have to tell you, Patrick told me Takeo has definitely been a mentor to him. He says he's constantly talking to him on and off the field, encouraging him and getting in his stuff when need be. He also says that he picks Takeo's brain a lot, and he says he's so grateful to him and gives him a lot of credit for helping him rise to the next level. A good tandem, those two.
I like what Nichelle said, getting in his stuff.
He's getting in the right stuff because it's working.
Sometimes you need somebody getting your stuff to become a great football player. 3rd and 11, nearly intercepted again. That time, Dre Bly, who should have had one to ice the game last week against Minnesota, can't hold on, but it's all good because it brings on the punt team for the Rams.
And you see the key to this play, Justin Smith in the middle. Justin Smith has been playing incredible football. Last week versus Minnesota, he took it to the best guard in the NFL in my mind, in Steve Hutchinson. It didn't show up in the stat sheet just like that, but Justin Smith makes his imprint on this football team each and every week.
Donnie Jones struggling with the win, punts of 35, 40, and 41 the last 3 times out. That one a little better, hangs it real high. No, yep, a fair catch called late there by Battle. Well, lunch with benefits weekdays. Make lunchtime your new prime time on Fox. Log on and check out all the new episodes of original sports shows delivered to your desktop every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, don't miss the after party with Jay Glazer, where Jay chats with all the biggest stars and performers only on foxsports.com on MSN. There it is right there. Can you see the menu? Coach Brian Billick will be up on Tuesday. He's
I'll be
always
there.
got some good stuff to talk about.
You can get a live chat with me on Wednesday at 2
right.
p.m. Eastern. Fox Sports.
You're going to be on live, huh? 49ers go back to the ground, as you'd expect. That's Coffee.
And if you know Mike Singletary, as I talked coming out of halftime, he's going to be on this offensive line on Coffee to let's get this running football game going. That's what he believes in as a head coach. That's his imprint on this football team, and that's how you finish off people. That's how you protect 21-point leads. You get the running game going.
Second and 6. Bootleg. Morgan gets jammed up. Morgan tried to get outside, but he couldn't get away from the traffic. They end up having to throw it away. Mike Singletary, man the middle for the Chicago Bears from 81 to 92. One of the original monsters of the Midway. Two-time defensive NFL Player of the Year. And boy, it wasn't just the eyes now. He could talk a good game in there too. What do you say? This is my kind of party.
I like that kind of party. There's nothing like this guy. I tell you, NFL films, my dad was from Chicago. He used to sit there and show me films of this guy. And I don't know if anyone's ever played with the intensity. He's being able to successfully translate that intensity as a player onto the field as a coach.
3rd and 6, just out of reach, intended for Coffee. Coffee can't hold on, and it brings on the punt team for San Francisco. No, it's not just an act that you see from so many coaches these days. I hate to say, but it's true. They turn it on one time and turn it off. For Singletary, that's his way of life.
Yeah, you know, and that's what it is. He's so real. And Ron, I don't want to put him in the Hall of Fame as a coach already. He's in there as a player, but he really reminds me of a couple of people. He has the wisdom of a coach that I play for, in Tony Dungy. He has the motivational skills of a guy like Herm Edwards. And then a guy he credits with his biggest influence, Mike Ditka. He has that kind of intensity and enthusiasm, and he sets the tone for his team.
Quincy Butler calls for the fair catch. 49 yards on the punt. And that's where the Rams will take over. And John, we talked about the Rams and you know what's going on the field. Well, the organization itself is in transition. And it kind of started this offseason with the passing of their owner, Georgia Frontiere. She passed away in January. Led to some front office changes. Her children, Chip Rosenblum and Lucia Rodriguez, now running the team. That changes at general manager. That's Jackson. Jackson going backwards. Jackson will go down at about the 2-yard line. Manny Lawson again.
And Ron, we keep calling his name because he's all over the field. Manny Lawson right here in the 3-4 defense. It's so important to do what they call set the edge. Well, no one does it better right now than Manny Lawson. He takes his tight end, Randy McMichael, back into the backfield, then finishes off the play on the tackle and comes up a little injured on the play.
Yeah, Lawson with his helmet off.
He got some friendly fire, as we like to say.
4th-year man out of North Carolina State. He looks to be okay as 49er training staff attends to him. But John, getting back to the Rams, just a lot of changes up front in the front office there, and at one point you got to believe that trickles down and has an effect on what goes on in the field.
Oh, absolutely. All great organizations, it all trickles down. It starts from the top. I know from talking to Billy Devaney, their general manager, there are some rumors about the team possibly being for sale. He says that hasn't affected the way this team's been run. He's been given every opportunity, intangible things. They just put a new turf field in. He asked for it. They gave it to him. He feels like he's been provided with every opportunity to make a successful organization along with Steve Spagnuolo.
Yep, and add a new head coach to the mix. It could take some time to get things going again. Kind of like the run game has been today, and the 49ers have been all over it. No gain. Spikes is there again.
And to get things going again for these St. Louis Rams, they got to get our man Steven Jackson some help. I mean, you see it each and every week, and it amazes me that he manages to stay so productive when really he's out there alone. And you know, there's other professional players that are all good football players, but they really have to build around him.
The Rams have just been going backwards on this drive. Jackson can't hold on. 4th down.
You see Justin Smith, class act, helping Kyle Boller up. But again, this guy's been all over the field. You see him wrap around and again put pressure. And this guy has just been all over the field. Kyle Boller tries to escape, but Justin Smith's right in his face. Justin Smith playing at a Pro Bowl level in my mind for this 49er defense.
Jones gets it out of his end zone. Not a great punt, but he got it out. Gets a pretty good roll. Ball rolls down to about the 43, 44-yard line. And the 49ers have been all over Steven Jackson.
Mike Singletary talked about it. If you want to stop Steven Jackson, number 1, be disciplined in your gap integrity. Number 2, get a lot of people to the football. They've been disciplined all day long, and you got Manny Lawson out there setting the edge. And look at the numbers of people. Their whole defense to the ball. Great job by this San Francisco defense in stopping a great football player in Steven Jackson.
18 carries for 49 yards. If you're a defensive coordinator, you'll live with that. Greg Minuski, the 49er defensive coordinator, saying, yeah, that's the kind of numbers we got to have against him. 49ers continuing to throw. Looking screen backside. Coffee couldn't get out of the backfield.
Grounding as a pass was thrown in the area of number 29.
Rams offense, 6 first downs, but they've punted 7 times.
You know, and one thing the Rams defense have done a real nice job of is diagnosing these screens. They aren't even letting Glenn Coffey get out of the backfield. Right there, Will Weatherspoon diagnoses the screen and basically goes and holds up Coffey. Earlier, they caused a intentional grounding on Shaun Hill as they did the same thing.
Quick throw to Bruce. Bruce heads upfield. Driven out of bounds by Anthony Smith.
And again, I'm going to say it, Ron, I like the creativity. I like the imagination by offensive coordinator Jimmy Ray. When I studied these guys, my one comment that I thought they weren't doing well is everything was so far down the field. Shaun Hill was doing a great job of managing it and not creating turnovers, but they need some easy throws for him. And today we've seen him come out with these quick screen looks that New England made so popular with Wes Welker, and they're doing a very nice job in the execution of those.
3rd and 4. A completion and a 49er first down. Arnaz Battle, the converted quarterback from college, 7-year man out of Notre Dame, moves the chains for 14.
You look at this protection that Shaun Hill has. Eric Heitman, Boss, and Reichel in the middle doing a great job protecting their quarterback. When you do that, Shaun Hill's going to put the ball. He's an accurate quarterback. Arnaz Battle, great job of getting open. Great execution on 3rd down for these San Francisco 49ers.
And this will be the last play of that was probably the last play of the 3rd quarter. The 49ers jumping all over the Rams, 21-0 with the help of special teams and defense. Fox NFL Sunday will be back after these messages. The NFL and its players are doing their part to help support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All this month, games across the country will feature pink cleats, gloves, and in-zone elements, just to name a few. Fans can visit www.nfl.com/pink to learn more. And that's a first down give to the rookie Coffey. Well, John, it took a while, but the 49ers finally got it going. And this was big because I don't want to say heartbroken was the word, maybe for a few minutes when they got on the plane coming back from Minnesota, but that clearly was a game that they felt they should have won.
Well, they had it. I mean, they got Brett Favre, basically. They had Minnesota. Some people think they're a Super Bowl team on the ropes till the very last play. And this is an impressive bounce back from a loss like that so often in this league can be just devastating to a team and their psyche.
Second down and 5. Continue to throw. Looking end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Josh Morgan. What a catch by Morgan. Going up over 2 defenders to bring it down for 6.
You know, Ron, Shaun Hill is a self-described grinder. Well, right there, that kind of personifies him as a quarterback. That couldn't have been more of a duck, but the result was good. Touchdown to Josh Morgan.
24 yards, Hill to Morgan. And Jimmy Ray, the Niners offensive coordinator, showing no signs of let up. They said they were going to open it up. They weren't lying.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Windows, Life Without Walls, by Chevy, and by Bud Light. With just the right taste that's not too heavy, not too light, the difference is drinkability.
The 49ers got it going on defense and with the special teams. Scott McKillop fell on a loose ball in the end zone. And now they're capping it off. Hill to Morgan. The second play of the 4th quarter, and it's pay dirt. Great kick. Amendola says, I'll take it at the 20. 49ers up big, 28-0 here in the 4th quarter. Shaun Hill. They're talking things over. Don't forget, after the game, the OT coming your way. So the Rams will take over, ball in the 20. They've hemmed up Jackson all day long and made Bowler do that kind of stuff right there. Intended for Fells, but no good.
I mentioned earlier the touchdown throw from Hill to Josh Morgan. This thing was a wounded duck. But wounded ducks don't go on the stat sheets. Touchdowns do. And the thing I like most about that play, Ronnie, you remember earlier in the first half, Shaun Hill threw a beautiful ball to Josh Morgan that he dropped. The confidence in his receiver to go right back to him in a key situation. And that pays huge dividends for Josh Morgan and his trust in Shaun Hill.
Double end around. It's a loose ball. Picked up by McDonald. Touchdown, 49ers. No flags. So Ray McDonald, who blocked a field goal that led to a touchdown last week in Minnesota, he says, wait a minute, I'm going to get 6 of my own. 11 yards on the fumble recovery and a touchdown for the 49er defense.
And I keep saying it, Ron, but this is so important, and I think this is so positive for this 49ers team. This defense taking the next step. You want to be a great defense, start scoring points on defense. I go back to our Super Bowl year in Tampa, Super Bowl 37 back in 2002. We were a very good defense for a long time. Top 10 defense for 5-6 years running. They haven't been that good. They've been very good. But you want to take that next step, start scoring points on defense. And again, Manny Lawson. This guy is all over the field for these guys. And Ray McDonald finishing it off. But they're showing the signs of taking that next step to becoming the dominant defense that I think these guys need to become a championship team, to be able to go somewhere in the playoffs. And Mike Singletary's loving every bit of it.
Manny Lawson separated Amendola from the ball. And Ray McDonald is right there to pick it up and score.
You know, Ron, and you talk great defenses, I kind of get a little caught up on my own defense, but Mike Singletary played on a pretty good defense in 1985 for those Chicago Bears, didn't he?
Well, the best thing about Singletary when you talk to him, he's a no-excuse guy. He doesn't want his players, will not allow his players to feel sorry for themselves, won't allow anyone else to feel sorry for themselves. It was kind of surprising how fast they had gotten over that loss last week. They said, that's it, it's over. We can cry all day about it, let's move on. And they have moved on here, up 35-0. And that's Amendola, who just fumbled the ball He gets it out close to the 30-yard line. Well, Fox's football coverage doesn't end when the games are over. Afterwards, stick around for the OT, where Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy bring you exclusive interviews, extended highlights, and a look ahead to next week's action. America's #1 post-game show, the OT, presented by Lowe's, is coming up after the game right here on Fox.
And Ron, you mentioned Singletary and his work in getting this team back and ready to play. The thing that impressed me so much, I was watching that game. As soon as that play was over, they went to replay. Before they even went to replay, Mike Singletary's picking his team up on the sideline, saying, "It's all right, you fought hard. We got better today." And his message to today, as we said in the open, was it's all about character. You can either wallow in the disappointment of a tough loss, or you can move forward and look forward to the opportunity. They've made the most of the opportunity, up 35-0 here in the fourth quarter.
Second down and 3. Jackson running mad. You could see him yelling at his guys in the huddle, trying to get it going. And we're talking about that play last week, the heartbreaker against the Minnesota Vikings. Last 20 seconds, Favre throws it up, and somehow it's caught. Greg Lewis comes down with it in the back of the end zone. Mark Roman covering. And what should have been a win, the 49ers come away with a loss, but we analyzed that whole thing, went back to it, looked at it. 49ers made a lot of mistakes in the last 2 minutes of that game. They didn't close the deal. We'll talk about that. That's Dre Bly, the injured 49er. We'll check on him when we come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the all-new 2010 SRX, the Cadillac of crossovers.
So 1st and 10, ball across midfield. Bly was able to walk off the field. Staff attending to him. Quick throw outside to Avery. Avery getting up the field. He's pushed out of bounds. Michael Lewis. And we talked about Steven Jackson running mad. Well, I guess he should run mad when you look at that percentage of touches.
68% of the offense. I mean, you don't see that in high school, let alone the NFL. And that last play, they again threw a screen to Donnie Avery. Again, got big yards. Where has that been all day? They need some help for Steven Jackson.
Throwback screen, diagnosed perfectly by Patrick Willis. Willis already today with the 21-yard interception for a touchdown, the second of his career. He had one for 86 yards in a touch last year against Seattle.
Again, you see the pressure by Justin Smith. He's a relentless player, and you see these two guys, two great players in this league that have a ton of respect. Ron, one of the things that's so refreshing is that these guys are guys at the top of their profession, some of the best players in the league, and the mutual respect Steven Jackson and Patrick Willis have for each other. They want to beat each other, but they're going to compete, but they have the ultimate respect for each other and talents.
Jackson almost got out of there, but a nice play. Nate Clements coming in and giving them all shoulder. They had some words afterwards.
Well, Steven Jackson told us, you know, when I asked him about this 49er defense, he's one of the guys he talked about. Good physical corner, good tackler, one of the best tackling corners in the league in Nate Clements. And Nate Clements is doing some work when you come up and take that big boy down.
Yeah. Clements, the one who returned the blocked field goal for the touchdown last week, 59 yards against Minnesota. 3rd and 7, the out route, and it's complete for a first down. Randy McMichael.
And he's a guy, if you're a Rams fan, they need to continue to evolve his role in this offense, get him more involved. Daniel Fells stepped up last week. The tight end is so essential in an offense, in this West Coast offense that we've seen in Philly. The tight end's always been a big part. They need to continue to get him the football.
Ball spotted at the 49er 28-yard line. The Rams' deepest penetration today. Jackson trying to get outside. It's not there. It's some extracurricular going on down there. I got to go back to the story of Patrick Willis, what he told us in the meeting room the other day about And they were having one of those get it off your chest deals, or so he thought. And Coach Singletary said, does anyone have anything they want to talk about, any questions? He said, yeah, why am I here? And that was in reference to the fact that Patrick always felt like he was a 4-3 linebacker trying to fit in a 3-4 scheme.
You know, and Patrick Willis tells that story, and he tells it as you see Steven Jackson go on the toss and carry defenders. But Patrick, back to Willis, he tells that story, and when you're around Patrick Willis, he's as innocent as anything. He wants to be such a great player, and he didn't mean anything bad by it, but he just was really, he thought that Mike Singletary was asking if anyone was confused with anything at practice. He thought he was saying, does anyone really have something to say about their feelings?
Like you're homesick or something?
Yeah, Patrick Willis does, why am I here? And Mike Singletary gave it to him. He said ever since he got down on his knees that night and prayed after crying on the way home and said, Lord, I'll listen to anything the man tells me. He has, and it's paid off.
3rd and 4. No place for Bowler to go. Comes up, loses the ball. Was he down yet? They say he was down. He was hit well in front of the first down marker. Deshaun Goldson came up.
Down by contact. 4th down.
And the ruling ball was out after down by contact.
I think if you're the Rams, you have to go for it here. 35-0, you have nothing to lose, and that's exactly what they are doing.
And Deshaun Goldson will be credited with a sack on the play. And as John just mentioned, 4th down. You got to go. Avery man-to-man at the bottom, but tightly covered. And it'll be a turnover on downs. Nate Clements all over him.
I circled the front of the 49ers because it looked as if with all that many people up at the line of scrimmage, they were bringing the pressure. Well, the right thing for Kyle Bowler to do is take a shot up top, but you have Nate Clements doing his job. When you're going to bring pressure, you better have trust in your corners, and Nate Clements, with the way he's played throughout his career, has earned that trust for sure.
49ers up 35-0 here in the 4th quarter.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
So the 49ers will take over on downs and try to make it academic from here on in. They'll give to Coffey, and Coffey moves the pile. A pickup of 4. And John, for Steve Spagnuolo, you know, he's got to be scratching his head and wondering, okay, what do I have to do to get this team a W? Spagnuolo, one of 11 new head coaches this year. Spent the last 2 years with the Giants. He's got the Super Bowl ring. He knows what winning is about and what it takes to win. But I don't know that he's ever been through a situation quite like this.
Well, he's got an uphill road for sure, but the thing I like about Steve Spagnuolo in this new regime is they're staying consistent in their message. I've been involved with a bad football team before, and as you see Coffey break out.
Coffey finally getting it going big here. He gets out to the 45-yard line and a 1st down. Finally brought down by Larry Grant. Continue your thought.
Back to my point, when I came to Tampa, or went to Tampa back in 1993, we were the worst franchise in all of football, for that matter in all of sport. We never got it going until they brought in Tony Dungy, who had a consistent message. Prior to that, it was always, we got to change things. We got to change things. Steve Spagnuolo has a path, has a plan for this organization. They don't have the players right now to get it done, but they stick with him. I think he's the right guy to turn this around. And Billy Devaney, general manager, is making nice moves as well.
17 yards, the longest run of the year thus far for Coffey. Picks his way, gets close to midfield. Brought down by Atagwe.
You mentioned Atagwe. He's one of the players they can build around on offense. It's obviously Steven Jackson. It's guys like Donnie Avery. Jason Smith, the 2nd pick in this year's draft, is the guy that they think the potential is just limitless. They think he's going to be an excellent football player. He's hurt right now. I think long term they see him at left tackle. And Steven Jackson saying, hurry up, boys, I need some help. Bring it in a hurry.
Second down and 7. Marker goes down. They'll go back. It's little things on the field, the practice field, that the 49ers have done, and really Mike Singletary has done, like the hill. He brought in all that dirt, and he just went back to the old Walter Payton.
Illegal use of the hands, hands to the face, defense number 99. 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That one going against the Rams. But yeah, he's going back to that old Walter Payton, old school workout.
Yeah, you know, and I think, Ron, as much for the physical impact of that hill, when I asked him about it, it's more about the mental impact. He loves the fact, the analogy with a hill, that there's a start and there's a finish, and you got to work to get to that finish line. And he sees the season and the building of an organization just like that hill. So I think that move was as much mentally motivated as it was the physical nature of it.
They keep it on the ground. The coffee Laurinaitis is there. Time permitting, we will be sending you at the end of this game to the Dallas-Denver game. Tony Romo, Kyle Orton. And they've got a tight one going on right now. A 3-point game. Dallas up by 3 with just over 8 minutes to play.
And whatever happened to the prolific offenses of Dallas and Denver? You look at them last year, they're putting 35 points on. We got a 10-7 defensive showdown in Denver.
Second down and 9. The toss to Coffee. Coffee hit hard. Bradley Fletcher, the 3rd-round pick out of Iowa. Coffee picks up 2.
And Bradley Fletcher is a guy that they're very excited of. They want to see him more and more get into the rotation. 3rd-round pick out of Iowa, as you mentioned. He's one of the guys they can build around. Chris Long, their last year's number 2 pick. I know a lot of people are feeling like he hasn't lived up to it. Talked to their GM, Billy Devaney. He said he's playing at a Pro Bowl level. He just doesn't have the sacks to show for it. And Chris is the first to tell you, I got to start producing in that way. James Laurinaitis in the middle. That's a guy they can build around. He's had a big impact right away. Those are guys that the Rams can start to rebuild this organization around.
Pressure, and Hill goes down. Leonard Little came into the game with 2 sacks. He picks up 1 here. And that'll bring on the punt team for the 49ers.
And much like Steven Jackson on the offense, there's some things that are consistent. And even in all the losing, guys play at a high level. Leonard Little and his ability to get after the quarterback, his 84th sack of his career. This guy has been bringing it off the edge for a long time in the NFL.
4 sacks for the Rams on the day. That is a positive number, showing they can at least get to the quarterback. But as everyone knows, the problems start as that one's almost blocked on the other side of the ball. Fair catch called by Amendola. You know, they used to refer to Mike Singletary as Samurai Mike. Remember the old '85 Chicago Bears Super Bowl shuffle? He came into town and he was very quick to say faith, family, football in that order. I don't apologize for it. He stuck to it. And I think he is slowly making a believer out of everyone in the Bay Area in 49er football again.
Well, I agree with you on everything except the slowly word. I think he's made an impact on everybody. I mean, those players got the message right away. He talked about Mike Ditka setting the tone right away. He came in here and set the tone on how things were going to be done. And it's starting to pay off with wins on the field.
The give to Darby. Darby trying to get outside. Abreu Franklin, the nose tackle, is there. You know, there was some discussion, a brief discussion between Greg Manusky and Mike Singletary about maybe going to the 4-3 defense. And of course, Mike Singletary played in that 4-3, but like I say, it was a very quick discussion and they decided to stay with the 34.
And from today, I think they made the right decision. You see Manny Lawson and Paris Harrelson, guys like Ahmad Brooks.
And look at that pressure. Patrick Willis is there first. His 2nd sack of the day.
You talk about Patrick Willis. We told the story. He thought he didn't belong in a 3-4 defense. Again, I think he's fitting pretty well. And he said he had to have trust in his coach and Mike Singletary, who was his position coach before he assumed the head coaching duties. And he said he just listens to Mike Singletary, the techniques that he taught him, and that's what allowed him to make this transition to this defense.
It's Greg Mineski, the 49er defensive coordinator. 2.5 sacks officially on the day for Patrick Willis. They'll keep it on the ground with Darby. And that'll bring on the punt team for the Rams. So the 49ers with a great opening day win against the defending NFC champion Arizona Cardinals. And a lot of people were, well, okay, that's a nice opening day win. Let's see what else they do. Dropped the close one against Minnesota, but no question about today. Don't forget, we've got bonus coverage coming up for you next. The Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos under new head coach Josh McDaniels, undefeated. Kyle Orton, you saw his numbers there, taking on Tony Romo and the big bad Dallas Cowboys. They are locked up at 10. We will give that to you in about 2 minutes. A muffed punt, free ball, picked up by Dre Bly. He started to get busy with it, then thought better of it. And John, the onslaught in the second half has been something to behold by the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, they came out. I told them, trust Shaun Hill. If you trust him, he'll do good things. They did it. Now Patrick Willis steps up, makes a huge play on the interception for TD. Shaun Hill, it's not always pretty, but he gets the job done. And then Manny Lawson, he's been all over the field the last couple of weeks. This San Francisco 49er defense has started to become opportunistic, excuse me.
They have made the big plays, special teams, defense. You saw Ray McDonald there picking up the fumble by Amendola and taking it back for the touchdown. That's Moran Norris. 1 touchdown on special teams, 2 on defense.
You know, and Ron, a thought as I look at this Dallas-Denver game, Denver's defensive coordinator, Mike Nolan, he may have not have got the job done as the head coach of the 49ers, obviously losing his job, but as a defensive coordinator, what he's done with that defense in Denver, that may have been one of the worst defenses in the history of football last year. And he's, I mean, 10 points, that's over their scoring average. I think they've been giving up about 6 points a game. They're playing at an unprecedented level, and what a game we have going there in Denver.
Meanwhile, the 49ers, with the win today, they'll go to 3-1. And on top of the NFC West division, they line up in the old victory formation right here. Next week, they'll take on the Atlanta Falcons at 1 o'clock right here. And then after that, a bye. So with a realistic chance, John, to go into the bye at 4-1.
Yeah, and that's going to be a real good football team down in Atlanta next week. 2 very good football teams that play a physical brand of football. That should be a tremendous matchup next week on Fox.
And the Rams will be taking on the Minnesota Vikings. That'll be at home as they drop to 0-4. Don't forget bonus coverage coming up. The Dallas Cowboys and the Denver Broncos. We'll return to San Francisco to wrap things up right after this. The final, the San Francisco 49ers 35, the St. Louis Rams nothing. The 49ers first shutout of the Rams since 1996. The final, the 49ers 35, the Rams nothing. Let's take a look at today's Domino's Delivers leaderboard. Shaun Hill, pretty nice day. A couple wobblers in there, as my partner said, but bottom line, he got the ball where it needed to go. And Vernon Davis coming up with a nice touchdown, a couple catches. For Ron Pitts, John Lynch, Nichelle Turner, so long from San Francisco. Right now, we take you to bonus coverage. Denver, the Dallas Cowboy Denver Bronco game. Here's Joe Buck. So long, everybody.